Good evening and welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. The Yankees win the home opener 7-0. I got your breakdown. It's New York Minute Sports. It's New York Sports for New York Nuts. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. Let's go!
It's New York Minute Sports.
Well, there you have it, folks. Welcome to another installment of the New York Minute Sports Show. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. We are back, baby. The Yankees post-game show is back. You guys that are with me last year, it's year number 2, and boy, am I excited. No more spring training, no more made-up tournaments in March to get the excitement up. We've got real deal baseball, and the Yankees were taking on the San Francisco Giants out on the West Coast, and this reminded me when I was a kid. In the 90s, every single year, the New York Yankees would start the season on the left coast against the Mariners, the Angels, or anybody that wasn't playing on the eastern seaboard of the United States, because guess what? The weather's better. So I'm already psyched for a better weather day in New York for opening day. But today, the New York Yankees showed up in San Francisco and they took care of business. But first, it was the inaugural broadcast of Netflix and baseball. Now, there was a lot of talk about putting fans behind a paywall. And for the record, I think it's absolute bullshit that somebody has to buy a month subscription to Netflix if they're a Yankee fan and they don't want to get it, and they have to pay about $24 just to watch the game today. And that's the way it is nowadays with all these hoops that you jump through. It's not good for the fan. But guess what? Netflix did a really, really good job on the broadcast today. Matt Viscursion always does a good job from MLB The Show if you play the video game. Sabathia and Hunter Pence, what a great combination in the booth, because one of the first things that you can hear and stands out on a broadcast from a new channel, guys like John Smoltz want to put you to sleep during the broadcast. These guys were funny, they were on point, and they were actually informed about the teams they were talking about. That's the problem with national broadcasts, is these guys, they show up the day of, they try to learn some stuff of the teams, and then they talk in the broadcast like they know what they're talking about. These guys, Sabathia, used to be a former Yankee, Hunter Pence, former San Francisco Giants, funny dude. So I give a 10 out of 10 for the broadcast. I was listening to the beginning of the game on AM radio because I always listen to the game on the radio. Susan Waldman's description of the opening ceremony, if you want to call it, where the New York Yankees were getting out of cabs and then the San Francisco Giants were getting out of trolley cars, it sounded like the Apollo mission moon landing. It was like, and now they got the Yankees coming out of yellow cabs. I guess that's to represent the New York. It sounded like War of the Worlds. It's like, oh my God, the humanity. So it sounded like Susan was in a rock show that she's never been to and was trying to describe it to everybody. So I got a big kick out of that. And then they had Bert Kreischer show up and try to give his best Kevin James rah-rah speech to the San Francisco fans. I was literally just waiting for him to be found in a canoe in the bay in about a gallon of Coronas, because the guy's an absolute booze hound. So as far as the Netflix is concerned, I thought they did a good job. It was a good introduction to them hosting baseball. Now let's get down to why we're really here, and that's Yankees baseball. The one thing that stood out for me, guys, was how aggressive the New York Yankees were tonight. They took a page, may I say, out of the Toronto Blue Jays playbook, and they got on Logan Webb often and early. It didn't look like they were sleeping in the batter's box, which they were very guilty of last year at certain points throughout the year. But tonight, they put contact to ball and got the ball in play and got guys on base. And that's the key. And now that's the trend in Major League Baseball. I know it sounds crazy to make contact with the ball is a new trend in baseball, but it is. Another positive to take from this game, if you're a Yankee fan, is the 7 runs were scored on 0 home runs, folks. 0 home runs. What is the Yankees' biggest problem all the time is manufacturing runs. And that's exactly what the New York Yankees did. Logan Webb is one of the best pitchers in all of Major League Baseball. So it's not like the Yankees woke up today and did this against guys that aren't good. Logan Webb is an ace, and the New York Yankees took him to task tonight. And the two guys that are most responsible to taking him to task tonight are the two guys that had the worst spring training on the New York Yankees team. That's none other than McMahon and Trent Grisham. Trent Grisham with the 2-run triple, baby. Ryan McMahon just putting contact up with the single up the middle for 2 runs. They combined for 4 RBIs each. And you know what's so funny? A lot of people were messaging me during the game. They're like, I guess Michael K was right. Listen, I want Michael K to be right about Trent Grisham. When I make statements about players that they're going to have a down year, it's not that I'm hoping that they have a down year so I'm right. I hope I'm proven wrong. I hope Trent Grisham hits 45 home runs this year, and I look like the biggest fool on the internet. Is because that means that he will be contributing and doing an even better job than last year. So, hey, listen, I'm wrong a lot, okay? I'm wrong as soon as I get out of bed in the morning. So if I'm wrong about that, I can live with it because the amount of production that you're going to get from him will be indispensable. Ryan McMahon plays a Gold Glove third base, and today he was just making contact and making things happen with the bat, and that's a very, very positive sign for the New York Yankees. Another positive sign, a guy that just picked up from where he left off last year, none other than our left-handed ace, Max Fried, baby. Looked dominant. And what the craziest thing about Max Fried's performance tonight, 6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, only 86 pitches. The crazy thing about Max Fried is he had none of his stuff tonight. He had 0 control. He worked through the whole night uphill, and he still retired 16 out of the last 18 batters that he faced. So that just shows how good Max Fried is. They're still ramping him up. That's why he was out with 86 pitches. He's still trying to find his location. He's still ramping up for the regular season, and he walked into enemy territory in San Francisco today and shut down the San Francisco Giants, who are a good offensive team. Now, Max Fried, a little bit of injuries with the blisters last year, high workload. This was a very, very positive sign for the New York Yankees today, getting out on the right foot with Max Fried, looked dominant. We even saw our boy Jake Bird pitch for an inning. We even saw Hedrick. We even saw Duval in all three in mop-up duty because the game was completely out of reach at that point. But then another guy that stood out to me today, Big G. Giancarlo Stanton looked like he was in midseason form from last year, and as Aaron Judge would like to joke, he's a singles hitter, but literally Big G was spraying it all over the place. 114-mile-an-hour exit velocity on one of his hits. Listen, we know Big G is going to give us the numbers. He's just got to stay healthy. Stay away from opening up the bags of chips and cutting the cheap Ruby Tuesday steaks, and you'll be absolutely fine. Caballero. This guy makes me excited. He was 1 for 4 tonight, but that one hit got the Yankees started. This is why Caballero is the spark plug of the New York Yankees. And you'll hear me say this on the show a lot. There's baseball players, there's hitters, and then there's ball players. There's guys that make things happen, and there's guys that let things happen to them. Caballero is one of those dudes that makes things happen, whether it's either on the defensive side of the ball, stealing bags, or getting a single to start the game, and Caballero was that spark plug for the New York Yankees tonight. I'm not going to get too ahead of myself, but it wouldn't be bad if Caballero could get that average up as a table setter at the top of the lineup instead of at the bottom, because the bottom of the lineup did all the damage tonight. And if you look at it, the Yankees fans were saying about we're going to run it back and what are we going to do for runs. If you look at this lineup, Ben Rice hitting in the 4th spot, Giancarlo Stanton hitting in the 5th, and Jazz Chisholm, who could hit 40 home runs this year, is hitting in the 6th spot. So this team will score runs. The Yankees led all of Major League Baseball in runs scored, hits, RBIs, and home runs last year, and on base percentage, all of baseball. So that's why there was another reason that they ran it back. And also, the New York Yankees scored 7 runs with Cody Bellinger and Aaron Judge being on a milk carton tonight. And I know it's only the first game, so you really can't break down and can't go too much into the minutia of it. As the games progress, we'll have more and more to talk about with Baboon messing up, because he will. But Aaron Judge, Golden Sombrero tonight, Netflix was all over that. Golden Sombrero tonight. Cody Bellinger's had a very quiet spring. He's been very slow, but he is often off to slow starts. If you remember last year, he had that bad month and a half to start off the season, but he'll pick it up. Austin Wells picked up right where he left off from the World Baseball Classic. Like I said on the preview show last, that will be at the link at the end of the video, that Austin Wells, I think, is going to have a big year. I thought last year was going to be his breakout year, and he still had 24 bombs last year with around 70 RBIs. He was fourth on the team in RBIs, but me and you can sit here, and as Michael Kay would say, the eyeball test is that the fact that we know that Austin Wells didn't have a good year last year. Went down to the World Baseball Classic, chilled, eat some beans and rice with the Dominican players. Hopefully some of that rubbed off. Awesome tonight. Behind the plate, in front of it, excellent. Austin Wells, that's the thing. I think he can really take the next step this year. Even in an interview today with Kevin Durant, Aaron Judge was talking about guys that he thinks are going to take the next step. The guys that he mentioned by names, Ben Rice, Caballero, and Jazz. Now, speaking of Ben Rice tonight, he got a hit. That's great. We all know that he can hit. The most impressive thing about Ben Rice tonight is the fact of his play at first base, his defensive play at first base. 2 hot shots, ate him up like a vacuum cleaner, was very good defensively at first base. Now, we know that he's going to hit. Ben Rice is a good hitter, and everyone is goo-goo gaga over this guy. When I'm watching Ben Rice, I'm looking at what he's doing and his footwork on the defensive side of the ball, and he looks lights out right now. The one thing you know you're going to get from Ben Rice is dedication and a smart baseball player. The guy went to Dartmouth, speaks 3 different languages. You know that he's got the brain capacity to do it. And apparently, the word is from the front office of the New York Yankees is nobody works harder next to Aaron Judge than Ben Rice. So, in the final, Yankees beat the Giants 7-0. But a couple of things during the broadcast that piqued my interest was when Barry Bonds sat in between the innings. Now, Barry Bonds loves to hear himself talk, and he is one of the most pontificating, self-absorbed JOs I've ever seen. But in my opinion, he is the greatest baseball player ever to draw breath. Okay, he's a nightmare to be around. That's why he wasn't the Marlins hitting coach for more than 2 months, because he is just an absolute maniac. But he said today that earlier in his career, George Steinbrenner had called him up around the trade deadline, and he had called Barry and told him, Barry, we're going to make you the highest paid player in baseball, but I need you to sign by 2 p.m. Barry Bonds said, what? And hung up on George Steinbrenner, went to go get lunch, thought about it, and then called San Francisco back and said, I'm coming back home. So I didn't know that. I know a lot of shit about the New York Yankees. I didn't even know that Barry Bonds on the New York Yankees was a possibility. But just imagine him beating that home run record on the New York Yankees and the trajectory of what would have happened to the New York Yankees if Barry Bonds ever joined this team. Because, you know, I'm a firm believer in a lot of guys that hit over 50 home runs. They don't have a lot of rings. Mark McGwire, Sammy Sosa, the list goes on and on. They don't usually have a lot of rings that correlate to their home runs. But Barry Bonds, shocking a little people on Netflix tonight with an inside scoop. And lastly, the commissioner came into the booth, and you know Netflix wasn't going to go hard in the paint on him for their first broadcast. Last thing they would want to do is piss off the commissioner in baseball. But the commissioner said one thing that really stood out to me, and I know it's very small, but that's what I'm here for, is to be small, is that he goes, the guy goes, when was your first opening day, commissioner? And he goes, well, that's in 1988. Now, listen, I failed math 3 times, but I can do simple math. So I went back and I crunched the numbers. So you're telling me the commissioner of baseball's first opening day that he had in person was when he was 28 years of age? 28? Your first opening day? I was cutting school at 14. My brother drove me to the stadium for opening day. Well, maybe that's why I'm not the commissioner of baseball. But anyway, I just thought that was very interesting because, like, the first opening day you went to is 28. Are you sure you're a fan? And I know that the commissioner doesn't have to be, crazy over baseball. They're just glorified lawyers that protect the owner's money. But I just thought that was very interesting that the commissioner of baseball's first opening day was at 28 years of age. literally 14 years later, that's when he had his first one. So very interesting. But the Yankees, they look good. They looked aggressive. you can't look too much into the first game, but the New York Yankees scored all their runs on no home runs tonight, and that's exactly the kind of team that I want to see. With Aaron Judge not doing anything and Cody Bellinger being on a milk carton tonight, the New York Yankees bottomed the lineup, picked up the slack. Trent Grisham, McMahon, heroes of the game, and Max Fried shutting them down, and that's what we hopefully can expect all season long. And it's 11-11. Love you guys up there, and I love you guys right here on YouTube and New York Minute Sports. That's NEWYRKMIN on Instagram. Anywhere in that smoke wagon you call the information superhighway. You can see this face, yes, with the sunglasses on, indoors. And remember, you can check me out for the rest of the season. I'm going to have a post-game show after every single Yankees game. Strap in, strap on, and I'm going to do a regular show during the afternoon. It's either going to be live or taped. Put your notifications on. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. And remember, if you can't be good, be bad, baby. Good night, Canada. Bye.